It's better to keep yourself busy while you're giving her room than to wait for her to come back. This is an idea from Stoicism. If you've done everything you can to make things better, focus on what you can control, your actions, your thoughts, and your own life. It's not helpful to think about it too much. Waiting and worrying can wear you down mentally and physically. This is related to the Stoic idea of keeping your cool no matter what's going on around you. In this video, we'll talk about the art of talking from a Stoic point of view. Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-control and wisdom, stresses that knowing what not to say can be more important than knowing what to say. By the end of this video, you will not only learn how to improve your conversational skills, but also how to use your words in a way that can get you the girl of your dreams without putting your chances at risk right away. If you haven't already, hit the like button and subscribe for more insightful content. Stay with us until the end to change the way you talk to people using Stoic advice that never goes out of style. Allow us to begin. Number 1. Telling her it's not a big deal, because as Stoics we know how important it is to accept other people's thoughts and feelings. If a woman tells you that something is important to her, you should not dismiss her feelings. For example, if she tells you about a problem at work and you say, "It's not a big deal," this may seem like a way to reassure her, but it actually invalidates her feelings and can make her feel unheard and unimportant. From a Stoic point of view, it's important to recognize that everyone has their own thoughts and feelings. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Understand this, and you will be strong. It means that while you are in charge of your own feelings and reactions, you shouldn't try to control or ignore those of other people. A man with high values and Stoic principles understands and respects the emotions of those around him. He knows that true strength lies in controlling his own thoughts and feelings rather than trying to change someone else's. For example, if she says, "I'm really stressed about this project," a Stoic man would say, "I understand that it's stressful for you. How can I support you?" On the other hand, an insecure and jealous man might try to downplay her feelings by saying things like, "It's not that bad," or "You're overreacting." This not only shows that he doesn't respect her feelings, but it also shows that he isn't emotionally mature. When you tell a woman that her feelings aren't valid or important, it can come off as insensitive and misogynistic. Women are emotional beings who value empathy and understanding. Telling her that her feelings aren't valid or important can be a big turn-off and hurt your relationship's trust. Instead, try to be a supportive and understanding partner. Listen to her, recognize how she feels, and show that you care. For example, if she tells you about a fight she had with a friend, and you tell her, "That's okay, you'll get over it," you're telling her that her feelings don't matter. Stoic principles say that the best thing to do would be to say, "I can see that this argument has really affected you. Do you want to talk about it?" This shows that you care about her feelings and are there for her. Remember that being Stoic doesn't mean being emotionally distant. It means being wise and compassionate, knowing that while you control your own emotions, you must also respect the emotions of others. By doing this, you make deeper, more meaningful connections and embody what it means to be a high value. The second man. When you see a woman, you should never tell her she looks tired or sick. This kind of comment, even if it seems harmless or even caring, can be very damaging. Women, like everyone else, care a lot about how they look, and society puts a lot of pressure on them to look a certain way. When someone says something like, "You look tired," or "Are you feeling sick?" it can hit you much harder than you think. These kinds of comments can make women feel bad about how they look because they remind them that someone saw them and thought they weren't looking their best, which can be very discouraging. For example, if your friend Maria comes to work looking tired, you don't have to tell her that. Instead, You can be more supportive and kind and just say, "Hey Maria, how are you doing? Is there anything I can do to help you today?" Shows genuine concern without making her feel bad about her appearance. Women are often very aware of how they look. They have mirrors, they check themselves out often, and they know they don't look their best. They don't need to be reminded that they don't by other people. By not making negative comments about their appearance, you show respect and consideration. It's a small but important way to practice the Stoic virtue of kindness. Always remember that the point of Stoicism is to get along with others and do as little harm as possible with our actions and words. The words we use show what kind of person we are, so the next time you want to say something about how tired or sick someone looks, stop and think about it. Instead of saying something hurtful, choose words that will make them feel better. This is a simple but powerful way to live a more stoic and compassionate life. By doing it, you show that you value wisdom, empathy, and the well-being of those around you. This practice not only helps others, but it also makes your own life more peaceful and fulfilling. Number 3. Look into her past relationships. Unfortunately, we know that curiosity can get the best of you sometimes, but you should not let this curiosity lead you to look into her past relationships. Want a girl to like you and fall in love with you right away? Don't ask her about her past. Asking about her past relationships will never make things better. Imagine you're on a date, the conversation is going well, and you're really connecting with her. All of a sudden, you ask her about her ex-boyfriends, and the mood changes right away. This is because you're showing that you're insecure by asking about her past relationships. Women are interested in men who are confident, strong, and sure of themselves. They don't want a man who is always comparing himself to others. They want a man who is happy in his own skin. Knowing about a woman's past doesn't help you connect with her in the present or the future. Instead, it makes you stuck. You can't change or control her past, so don't dwell on it. Instead, focus on the present and the relationship you are building with her. Accept her as she is now, not as she was in the past. A confident man doesn't need to know every detail of his partner's past to feel safe. He knows that everyone has a history, and what matters most is how they treat each other now and what they plan for the future. Think of it this way. When you're climbing a mountain, you focus on the path ahead, not the terrain you've already crossed. The same is true in relationships. We all care more about what other people think than what we think. This quote tells us that we often look to other people to confirm things that shouldn't matter. For example, asking her about her past relationships is in this group. That search for approval doesn't make you feel better about yourself or your relationship. Instead, base your relationship on trust, respect, and the present moment. Being a man who appreciates her for who she is now, not who she was, shows her that you are confident enough to focus on your future together instead of being stuck on past relationships. By having this attitude, you not only avoid needless arguments and insecurities, but you also show that you are a man of deep confidence and true understanding. This is the type of man who naturally attracts and keeps the interest of a good woman. So the next time you want to ask about her past relationships, take a deep breath and remember the wise words of Stoicism. Focus on what you can change. Remember that the core of Stoicism is to live in harmony with nature, accept what we can't change, and always strive to be better. By following these rules, you will become a more attractive, confident, and smart partner. If you follow this philosophical idea, your relationships and your whole life will get better. Showing off too much. One thing you should never tell women is how much money you have. Most guys think that women are gold diggers, but this isn't true. Some women may be interested in money, but that's not the case for most women. Because of this faulty belief, Many guys start bragging about their money, cars, expensive things in their home, and how big their house is. This behavior is not only harmful, but it also shows that you don't have much to offer. It means that you're safe and don't have much to offer. Stoics believe that what really defines you as a person are your virtues, values, and character, not your material possessions. When you brag about your money, you show a shallow side of yourself. It means that you judge your worth by things outside of yourself instead of your inner strengths. Women can tell when you're not being yourself and are just using your money as a lure. For example, let's say you're on a date and you talk the whole time about your expensive car, your fancy apartment, and your expensive trips. You're telling her that material things are important to you and that you think they make you more attractive, which makes her bored and makes her wonder about your depth as a person. Instead, talk about your passions, dreams, and the things that really matter to you. Tell her stories that show who you are and how your experiences have shaped you. This will not only make the conversation more interesting, but it will also let her see the real you behind the material facade. A woman who is truly interested in you will be drawn to your personality, your confidence, and your ability to have deep conversations. A gold digger, on the other hand, may be interested in your money, but will leave you once she has drained your bank account. When things get tough, don't stick around because she was only interested in your money. Real connections are based on mutual respect, understanding, and shared values. That's why bragging about your money is not only unattractive, but also counterproductive. Instead, work on developing and showing your true self, your virtues, your wisdom, and your inner strength. These are the qualities that will attract a woman who is interested in you for who you are, not what you have. Remember that a high-value man doesn't need to brag about his wealth. His character and actions speak for themselves. Number 5. Are you really going to wear that? Let's go into more detail why. Imagine you're getting ready to go out and feeling good about your outfit. You've spent time choosing something that makes you feel comfortable and confident. Then someone makes a rude comment like, "Are you really going to wear that?" How does that make you feel? Probably not great. For women it's the same, but it often has a bigger effect. Women are constantly judged and put under pressure by society about how they look. A negative comment about someone's outfit can feel like a harsh judgment, shattering their confidence and sense of self-worth. However, not everyone is that emotionally strong and resilient. Many women have dealt with years of unwanted comments about their looks, which can wear down even the most confident person. When a man questions their choice of clothing, it can feel like an attack, making them doubt themselves and their choices. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy and a severe blow to their self-esteem. Instead, try to encourage and support her. If you want to comment on her outfit, tell her how great she looks in it. Focusing on the positives will not only boost her confidence, but also strengthen your relationship. As an example, let's say you make her feel supported and valued for who she is, not just how she looks. This can lead to a deeper connection and mutual respect, which are two important parts of any good relationship. If you're about to go out on the town and she wears a new dress, you might not like the color or style, but instead of asking her if she's sure, you could say something like, "You look amazing in that dress. It really brings out your eyes." This way of talking about her clothes not only keeps you from criticizing her, but it also creates a positive atmosphere by focusing on what you like about her. This can make your time together more enjoyable. Remember that criticizing her clothes makes you a judge, making her feel like she needs to meet your standards, which can create a power imbalance and make her feel like she has to seek your approval. In a healthy relationship, both partners should feel free to say what they want without fear of being judged. To be a Stoic man, you should learn to praise someone instead of criticizing them. Your words have power. Use them to boost confidence instead of tearing it down. This way, you respect her independence and your promise to be a supportive, understanding partner. Stoic wisdom says to focus on what you can control in your words and actions and let go of the need to control others. By doing this, you create a more loving relationship based on mutual respect and genuine affection. Care number 6, talking about your past. It's important to be aware of how you speak when talking about your past, especially past relationships. Let's look at this from a serious point of view. Stoicism tells us to keep our cool and not let our emotions get the best of us, no matter what. When you talk about your past relationships, it shows a lot about who you are, how mature you are, and how emotionally smart you are. When guys talk about their ex-partners, they often say bad things about them. They call them names, criticize their behavior, and say that their ex-partners are to blame for everything that went wrong. This is not only negative, but it also makes the speaker look bad. Picture this. You're on a date with If you're a woman and you start talking badly about your ex, she might think that if things don't work out between us, he'll probably do the same to me. This thought can make you and your current partner not trust each other. For example, if you're telling your current partner about your last relationship, you could say that you had different expectations and it didn't work out, but I learned a lot from it. This shows that you're grown, polite, and interested in growing as a person instead of dwelling on problems. As a true Stoic, you would approach this scenario with calm and common sense. You would know that every relationship, good or bad, is part of your journey and growth. Speaking positively, or at least neutrally, about a past partner shows self-control and respect. It shows that you can stay respectful and dignified even when talking about tough topics. Remember that it's not about pretending that everything was perfect. It's about choosing to focus on the lessons learned and the good things. Be the kind of person who says nice things about other people, draws attention to the good, and doesn't say anything bad. While this doesn't mean you have to lie or be too nice, it does mean you should be fair and reasonable in your memories. It's important to be aware of how you talk about your past, especially past relationships, because it shows what kind of person you are and affects how other people see you. You can keep your integrity by following the rules of Stoicism, respect people, and make a good impact. The next time you talk about your past, remember to be the guy who talks positively about others and focuses on learning and growing. 7th, she pays attention to what she eats in the world of Stoicism. Not commenting on a woman's eating habits is not within our control. This principle isn't just about diet, it's also about respecting others' autonomy. If you offer dietary advice to someone who hasn't asked for it, you're crossing boundaries and not respecting her freedom to make her own choices. For example, if you're at a dinner party and see a woman reaching for dessert, you might think you're being helpful by telling her to skip it, but think about how that makes her feel. It makes her feel like she can't make her own decisions or that her choices need to be confirmed by you. This is not only disrespectful, but it also hurts her confidence instead of creating a supportive environment. Your comment might make her feel judged and self-conscious. From a Stoic point of view, we should work on our own behavior and getting better if we want to draw a high-value person. Woman, become a high-value guy to yourself. This means taking care of your own health and well-being without making other people live up to your standards. Women usually know how to take care of themselves, so they don't need unwanted advice from someone who hasn't mastered self-discipline. By working on your own habits and becoming the best version of yourself, you set a positive example that others might want to follow. This is much more effective and respectful than trying to tell someone what to do. For example, if you're having trouble with your own diet, it's not appropriate to give advice on other people's. Instead of telling her what to eat, Focus on making the best decisions for yourself. If you want to be with a healthy and fit person, make sure you are healthy and fit yourself. Without saying a word, you get people to think about their own habits. This method comes from being humble and aware of yourself. According to the Stoic philosophy, women often face unfair societal pressures about how they look and what they eat. By not commenting on what she eats, you show respect for her autonomy and acknowledge the unfair pressures she already faces. It's about understanding that everyone has the right to make their own choices without outside judgment. Remember that your job is not to control others, but to keep your own standards. Women like men who respect their women's choices and show them how to do things, instead of telling them what to do. Focusing on your own growth and respecting the autonomy of those around you creates a more harmonious and respectful environment, which in turn attracts high-value individuals who value these traits, leading to more meaningful and respectful relationships. Eighth, don't be so focused on yourself. Ego can be dangerous, but confidence is beautiful. Egotism is a big turn-off in a picture. You're on a date, and instead of enjoying the moment, you start bragging about how many women are interested in you. You might think it's cool, but she sees it as a big red flag. When you brag about how attractive you are, you come across as insecure and self-centered. To connect this to Stoicism, a theory that values self-awareness and humility, Stoics believe that people should focus on their good qualities and not look for approval from others. If you're always talking about how many women want you, you're doing the opposite. You're seeking approval and validation from others to boost your ego, which goes against the core principles of Stoicism. Instead, be humble. If you want to be humble, you have to think less of yourself. Listen to what she has to say and be interested in what she has to say. Ask her some things. Listen carefully and take part in deep talks. You could say something like, "I'm really proud of the teamwork and effort that went into closing that big deal," instead of saying, "Everyone at the office admires me for closing that big deal." This shows that you value her as a person, not just as another accomplishment on your belt. This small change brings attention to your input without making it all about you, and it recognizes the work of others, showing humility. Remember that women like men who are both confident and humble. If you don't brag, you show that you're happy with who you are and don't need to be told all the time. If you talk about how desirable you are all the time, she'll probably think that you're only interested in boosting your own ego. Over time, she'll realize that your self-centered behavior isn't just a quirk, but a core part of who you are. You might not leave right away, but the seeds of doubt will be planted, and she'll decide to walk away. If you want to build a meaningful relationship, be humble. Don't tell her how many women want you or how you can have any girl you want. Instead, focus on being present, listening, and showing real interest in her as a person. This is in line with Stoic ideas and makes you much more attractive and trustworthy in her eyes. Being too controlling in relationships is unhealthy. Trust and respect are the building blocks of a healthy bond. As Stoics, we believe in valuing the autonomy and independence of others, especially the person we care about. Really, being too dominating or possessive is a very bad thing to do. Imagine a garden where each plant has room to grow. If you start to control where each leaf goes, the garden won't grow, it will die. In the same way, being protective or controlling in a relationship can kill the other person's spirit. Trust and freedom are important for a relationship to work. If you try to control her actions or choices, it shows that you don't trust her and are afraid of losing her. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The harder you squeeze, the more it slips away. Instead, let her make her own decisions and support her journey. This doesn't mean you don't care about her. It means you respect her individuality. For example, If she wants to hang out with her friends or work on a hobby, let her. Don't bother her with questions or make her feel bad for wanting time alone. By giving her space, you show that you trust her and value her independence. Respect, not control, is what makes a relationship healthy. When both partners feel free and trusted, the bond gets stronger. Remember that being stoic in relationships means focusing on what you can control, like your own actions and replies. Get rid of the need to control her and instead work on. If you trust and respect each other, your relationship will grow and thrive like a plant. In other words, don't tell her what to do or where to go. As we wrap up our talk on the art of conversation and stoic communication, make sure that both of you feel valued and respected in your relationship. This will not only make it healthier, but it will also make it more satisfying. It's clear that getting good at these skills takes time and regular practice. Stoicism shows us the value of self-control and wisdom, stressing how important it is to be respectful and speak clearly when we talk to each other. Stick to your routine and slowly take in these teachings. Some of them might not make sense until after the first session, but if you keep practicing and incorporating them into your daily life, you will start to notice a big difference in how people treat you. It's important to avoid the phrases we've listed and follow the Stoic rules we've talked about. As you do this, you'll see a positive change in your relationships, especially with women. We hope that this look into Stoic principles has not only educated you, but also given you the tools to handle your interactions with others more gracefully. If you found value in our conversation today, please show your support by clicking the like button and sharing this video with others who might also benefit. Your participation helps us grow and continue to provide insightful content. We'd also love to hear from you. Leave a comment below typing, "I know how to talk," to let us know that these lessons have struck a chord with you. Also, don't forget to watch the recommended videos on screen for more tips on how to master the art of Stoic conversation. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to stay up to date on our latest discussions. Stay until the end. Always try to improve yourself and learn new things.